Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Khanna of California and Robert Reich, Secretary of Labor in the Clinton administration and professor of public policy at UC Berkeley. I want to thank both of you for being here. And I do want to start with you, Congressman, because, you know, the non-routineness of raising the debt limit is a purely political thing, you know, and I can recall Democrats who opposed seemingly unlimited Pentagon and Iraq war spending making a statement by opposing the increase in the debt limit. I think when he was a senator, Senator Obama did that. But they did that knowing that they were not the votes that were going to cause the debt limit to be overreached. So it was a statement. It was not an attack on our economy. This is different because you hear these Republicans saying we've got to get our spending back under control, but they didn't have a problem with racking up $7.8 trillion under Trump. Your thoughts?
Joy, you're absolutely right. They did it as a statement to remind the American people that President Clinton, under whose administration Secretary Reich served, left this country with budget surpluses. Then what happened? President Bush went into Iraq. President Bush had these massive tax cuts for the wealthy. President Bush caused a financial crisis that led to spending to recover from that. And Trump gave a massive tax cut. So to have the Republicans who have caused this debt lecture us about the debt is the height of hypocrisy. And all we're saying is pay the past bills because you've racked them up. We're not going to default on the debt you've incurred. And let's debate future spending.
Yeah, I mean, our wonderful colleague Stephanie Rule has basically likened it to a credit card. You know, you run up the credit card bill, and then at the end of the month, you're like, I am not paying that. I refuse to pay those bills. No, that's not how it works. And Robert Reich, that's the point that I think bugs me the most. The first time I'm not going to age myself, but I was in high school when Ronald Reagan was president, and the huge deficits he ran up were because of the thing Republicans love to do. Lots of tax cuts for the super rich. Clinton cleans that up. Then they come back and do more tax cuts for the super rich and more huge defense spending. They keep cutting the super rich's taxes and then saying, we've got to get the budget under control. Your thoughts?
Well, that's happened again and again and again, Joy. You're absolutely right. And I remember in the Clinton administration, it was almost as if we had a giant pooper scooper, and we had to go around and clean up the mess created by Reagan and the first Bush administration. And then we cleaned it up. And what happened? The next Bush administration created an even bigger mess. And as you pointed out, Donald Trump spent $7.8 trillion, increased the national debt by $7.8 trillion, and raised the debt ceiling. I mean, there was no problem raising debt ceiling when Republicans have the power and Republicans are in the White House. Yes, the Republicans will raise the debt ceiling. But suddenly the deficit becomes a big deal when Democrats have the White House, and the deficit not only becomes a big deal, but there are threats to not raise the debt ceiling and thereby hold hostage the full faith and credit of the United States, stiffing essentially all our creditors.
And Congressman, you know, it's also a matter of who is demanding this. These Tea Party Republicans have it in for Social Security and Medicare. And the cuts they're demanding are to anything that helps the old or the poor. They want to cut food stamps. They want to cut Meals on Wheels. They want to cut Social Security and Medicare that people have paid their tax money into. They never say they want to do these cuts to cut anything that helps anybody rich. They just want to hurt poor people and old people. And they're demanding that President Biden somehow be willing to sign a bill to do that.
So they're coming from a position of weakness because they know their case is so unpopular with the American people. They don't have the skill to be able to defend it and make a case legitimately. The only way they can do it is to threaten to hijack and bankrupt the American economy. And there's a clear contrast. Look, the Democrats under John Lawson, we want to increase Social Security benefits. We don't want Social Security benefits for the working class to be taxed. We are for helping people in the working and middle class. And they know that's a winning argument. We don't have to threaten to hijack and bankrupt the American economy. They do because they can't win the political argument.
You know, Robert Reich, the thing I think that people also forget, too, there's a reason that the United States has a AAA credit rating. The United States, American debt it's a safe investment, right? And so they're making it sound as if they don't stop us from going over the debt limit, if they don't let us go over the debt limit, that somehow that is hurting the United States economically, when it's not. The United States can't afford to run these deficits. It's just they want to run them for only one reason: to cut rich people's taxes.
Exactly. I mean, this is very, very important and very central. They continually have tax cuts for the rich. They continually want to cut the safety nets that everybody relies on, particularly Social Security and Medicare. They've been threatening this from the beginning. In fact, from 1935, they were against Social Security. And from 1965, they've been against Medicare. And what is the vehicle they use? As the congressman said, they don't want to do it directly. They want to. They know these these programs are enormously popular. So what will they do? They'll use this debt ceiling. It sounds to the public as, well, of course you need to have a debt ceiling. Actually, what they are doing is creating huge potential problems for everybody, because they will ultimately only raise the debt ceiling if they get their way. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means cuts in programs that everybody counts on, or it means that our credit is downgraded and we have to pay billions more to borrow more money. I mean, this is insane. There should be no negotiating at all with hostage takers.
Yeah, there's a reason that we have a saying in the United States: we don't negotiate with terrorists. This is economic terrorism, putting a gun to the head of the American economy in order to try to sock it to the poor and the elderly. It's unchristian, I'm going to say. I'll put it that way. And they claim to be the defenders of the faith. Congressman Khanna and Robert Reich, thank you both very much.